Now, there's an equally important story, and this one's not from the Middle East. Whew. This one is from Irving, Texas.
Equally or more important?
Maybe more important.
It's pretty sad.
Than Petraeus testifying.
It's sad.
Yeah.
Hostess is closing the doors.
Yeah. No more Twinkies.
No more Twinkies, no more ding-dongs.
No more
Ding-dongs
ho-hos.
are better than...
Oh, ding-dongs are
Ding-dongs
clearly
and
better
ho-hos.
than Twinkies. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's take a moment. Think about the snack treats that we've lost. 18,500 member workforce making, where are the Oompa Loompas? Seriously. We can't get the union members because the union members, 18,500 jobs here in Irving, Texas. 18,500 people. The unions decided that it was more important for them to lose their jobs than to take a pay cut.
Yeah, what was the pay cut? Was it 8%?
It was an 8% pay cut. But
and
remember,
so now they took a 100% pay cut instead.
100. 100.
How does that make any sense to anybody?
I just want to point this out. First of all, Twinkies and Hostess have been in real trouble. This is like their third bankruptcy. They keep. It's like a bad airline. Just keep going down over and over and over again. Okay, so anybody with any common sense knows they're not bluffing. They're not going to make it. But the unions decided that it was more important to put them out of business to send a message. I want you to know, when the president started meeting with people on the fiscal cliff this week, he's meeting with members of Congress today. He met with business people yesterday. But the beginning of the week, the first person in the door, Richard Trumka. And Richard Trumka is sending the message to the president, debt doesn't matter. Spend. They're working on a new spending stimulus package. Debt doesn't matter. Spend. Spend, spend, spend. And these are the things that we want. This president, if you think he's bluffing on the stimulus package or on the fiscal cliff, he's not bluffing. Because you want to see who these radicals are. Look no further than Irving, Texas and Hostess. They would rather put out 18,500 Americans and have them without a job in this economy than work together. Who are the radicals? Who are the ones that want to shore things up? Who are the ones that care about people? Good luck. Now, if the economy was slightly different, I might go into the ding-dong and Twinkie business myself. I would maybe make them with a few less ingredients from Dow Chemical that may have contributed to their demise. And I don't mean the demise of the products because, believe me, even if you've consumed one, they will live on forever. Mm-hmm. But it might have been the chemicals that they might have wanted to back off on. Sure, it was good. It was good eating in 1950. And if you could get the first Twinkie off the line, it would taste exactly the same today. Mm-hmm. And not frozen, just sitting there in a bag. I had this in my garage. I bought it in 1951. I just found it in my garage. I opened it up. It's fantastic. It tastes exactly the same.
Be something you buy at a garage sale. It's been sitting there since 1950.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That
tastes the same.
That may be the problem.
Still be just as fresh.
Yeah, we thought chemicals were a little... I remember my father was a baker, and I remember coming home one day, and I wanted him to make Wonder Bread so desperately.
Which Hostess also made.
Yes. Wonder Bread's gone. So we lost it. Mm-hmm. So I went home to my dad and I said, Dad, this is the best. And he said, it's bad for you. It's not good bread. And I said, no, it's the perfect bread. Dad, you can roll it up into a ball. This is I'm an 8-year-old kid talking to my father who's a baker and has been in a baker's family for 3 generations. Dad, you can roll this bread up into a ball. That's not something we're looking to do. And I said, Dad, and I said it with full conviction that this was a good thing. Dad, it has chemicals in it. Yeah, that's the problem, son. Here's our sponsor this half hour. It's food insurance. Now, you could stock up on a whole bunch of Twinkies because they'll last 25 years. Or you could take really good, wholesome food and then freeze dry it. And it will also last 25 years. One of them is probably good. The other one, not so much. And the saddest news of the day, Twinkies are gone. The golden sponge cake with a creamy filling. Snack classic. The reason why I bring this up right after the oil spill is because I believe a lot of this is petrochemical based.
Yeah, it's made from petroleum product.
I bet a lot of it is.
Sure.
What?
I bet a lot of it
is too.
I bet a lot of it is.
I bet it is. Either comes from Dow or Huntsman Chemical, one of those. But don't get me wrong, it's still delicious.
Almost everything is. Okay, I'm just reading the instructions. They fired the unions. If you want to know what the fiscal cliff, you want to, hey, we can negotiate. We can compromise. Really? The unions are involved with the fiscal cliff. And the unions are the ones that said to 18,500 employees that work for Hostess, you're better off not having a job than taking an 8% pay cut. How many of those 18,500 workers would rather have a job today? How many of them?
Got to be all of them.
You would think a lot of them.
At least until, okay, let's say you're pissed off about the 8% pay cut, and you know, who wouldn't be? But you'd rather have the job. So you at least keep the job with the 8% pay cut until you can find something else that you're happy with. You certainly wouldn't want to be out of a job completely and making $0. I mean, you know, think about that. If you're working at Hostess and you're making $50,000 a year, an 8% pay cut is what? You'd be making $47,000 then? So instead of making $47,000 a year rather than $50,000, you'd rather make $0 a year? How does that make sense in anyone's world?
Warning, the unions want joblessness now. They needed to have it look like there were lots of jobs, but now it works to the advantage of the president to show how bad the economy is going and to have more joblessness. It works to the advantage because it creates unrest. It creates a need for a savior. It creates a need for big government to bail people out. It cripples things. You don't want businesses at this point going well. You want to be able, you need it to go one step further. They want the fiscal cliff. I'm convinced they want the fiscal cliff. It was their idea. You're not negotiating. I have no problem negotiating and compromising on things. I won't compromise my value, but compromise is important. But you don't compromise with people who are suicidal. And you don't compromise with people who are not honest brokers. You need an honest broker at the table. Hostess was not negotiating with an honest broker. An honest broker says, look, we want you to be in business. We want you to be in business. We know you've gone bankrupt a couple of times. We want you to be in business because it's good for our people. We have 18,500 families. Think of that. 18,500 families. We want you to be in business. So let's negotiate. Now, come on. Really? There's nothing else you can do? There's nothing else we can do. We're bankrupt. You don't let somebody go out of business like that. If you're an honest broker, they're not honest brokers. By the way, I don't know if I've ever actually eaten a Twinkie before. Ding dongs I love. Boy,
you've had to have that spongy goodness. You've had to have that.
Okay, first.
Come on, how bad? It's a sponge cake with whipped cream in the middle.
Some food that
there's no whipped cream in it, and I don't know if that's actually
I don't know
cake.
if it's whipped cream.
Some
but
food
it's
that you're saying is petrotechnology. You don't smell it. Just eat it.
Yeah. See, it's good, right?
See?
Oh, that's goodness.
See?
That's gooey goodness. Spongy, gooey goodness.
Oh, we can't let this go out of business. Hello?
I know.
I mean, where am I going to get, seriously, where am I going to get my daily
sodium
dose?
benzoate.
Where am I going to get my daily dose of that?
Yeah. I don't know.
Where can I get my...
Where are you going to get that?
Where can I get my polysorbate 60?
And how often do you go into a restaurant and you say, I'd really love some of your... is your polysorbate 60 fresh today? Or then
They say, could I just have a bowl of modified whey and diglycerides?
You know what's good with that, though? Sorbic acid, because it retains the freshness.
Oh, I love that.
Huh?
And it retains the freshness for like 65 years. I mean, it really is good at retaining
freshness. So you want a lot of
freshness.
sorbic acid is what you want.
Hey, Mark.
You want to pour sorbic acid over just about everything
Would you open the
own.
safe, please?
You do. Because I'm thinking of a couple people today already.
Okay, I can't eat more than one of these because I don't want to live this long.
Yeah, it'll.
Because I believe I will retain my freshness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, just a minute. This is an important moment because I have one of the last Twinkies, I believe, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
We looked all over the place for these, and they were tough to find. And so we're going to deposit them now into the Liberty safe, where you know they will continue to exist for the next millennia.
Oh, my gosh, just Twinkies? Here, take my ding-dongs. Yeah, I'm just...
I'd be careful of that phrase, but... Okay, so we have Hostess Twinkies and Hostess Ding Dongs.
Yes.
Now, if you're just listening to this on the radio, going into the Liberty safe right now.
Guns, gold, forget about it.
We got Hostess Twinkies.
Hello. And
So,
ding-dongs.
when the apocalypse comes down and there's nothing but roaches, there'll be Hostess Twinkies for the roaches
and the
to feast
Twinkies,
on.
I believe...
If they know the combination of the safe.
I think the Twinkies were supposed to save us from the zombie apocalypse, so
Really?
we could be in big trouble if the company closes for good.
Was it Twinkies that were going to save us?
I mean,
Wonder Bread gone,
Retain
Twinkies
freshness.
gone. I mean, that's a really big deal. I mean,
that is.
Well, who was it that said? Reminds me of a saying we once heard.
mhm.
And Barack knows that we are going to have to make sacrifices. We are going to have to change our conversation.
Yeah.
We're going to have to change our traditions, our history. We're going to have to move into a different place.
Was this their plan all along? Make sure the Hostess Ding Dong Twinkie plant closed.
It is kind of a sad day. I mean,
a very
I
sad
think
day.
maybe the first Twinkie I've ever had, but Ding Dongs I love, and I never eat them, but I love Ding Dongs as well. It's kind of a sad day.
Ho-hos, too. Where are the ho-hos?
Ho-hos are gone. Wonder Bread is gone.
Wonder Bread builds body in 12 different ways. How are bodies going to be built in those 12 now? We don't know. They stumbled on Wonder Bread in the 50s, and now they've not replaced it with anything.
Science, wait a minute. Hold on just a sec. Wonder Bread builds bodies 12 different ways?
Yes. You don't remember that?
No.
Helps build the
Are
body
you
good.
Are you
Right?
confusing it?
Something
Are you
like that,
confusing
yeah.
it with Soylent Green?
No.
All right.
No, that's people. Wonder Bread is not people.
It's sorbic acid.
No, it's the sorbic acid that keeps the people fresh.
Retaining their freshness.
You slice people into little loaves. You don't recognize them as people anymore. If you put a nice,
Especially if you put some cream in there.
yeah, and what you do is you put little dots and little colored dots all over the bread. Mm-hmm. That's why Wonder Bread came in a white bag, so you couldn't see the bread itself because you'd be like, man, that looks like my Aunt Helen.
Wonder Bread is people.
That's why they're out of business today. See, good guys lose in the end. Here's our sponsor this half hour. It's FreedomWorks. FreedomWorks knows that with Harry Reid and Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi and these nightmares, and now with all of the people, wait a minute. Are we losing? Who makes those apple pie things? That's in Hostess too.
I think so. Well, Tasty Cake makes some of that stuff too, but the Hostess has those apple pies and those cherry pies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Hostess.
They're kind of sugary on the top.
Those are
Okay,
Hostess.
all unions should be abolished. FreedomWorks would like you to go to lameducklegislators.com right now because the people in Washington are going to spin us into oblivion. And they are not kidding. Here's what's happening. They're planning on a new stimulus package. They're not going to call it that. They're going to, hey, we got to build roads and infrastructure. That's what they said last time.